everybody. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Viall Files Ask Nick edition. I have to clear my throat.
Yeah, I was like, there's something.
Yeah,
there's
rattling.
something in there.
I'm only human. What's going on? We're here with the household of Allie, Amanda, and Derek.
Pew, 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 pew.
Love that. That was a good one.
The least enthusiastic
ever done.
What's new? What's going on?
Like literally, what is new? How is everybody? Derek's been silent.
Great. Cut my hair. Of course, you guys saw that last week. Do you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I do. I think, I like your look. Like, I didn't think you needed to change
Allie's
your
not
signature.
Sure.
Did you cut it so that it would grow back out?
What do you mean?
Like, were you afraid if it kept growing, it'd get too long? So the goal of this is to kind of like...
There was no goal.
Oh.
Per se.
Okay.
I might be shooting something where I won't be able to like style my hair, and I might be wearing like hats, and for the sake of like simplicity.
Yeah.
I will say it is 10 times better than that time that Natalie went out of town and you kind of like went rogue and you just did the sides.
Okay, so we hated that.
Yeah, this is a lot better.
This one, I was like, oh, he got a haircut, but nope, I wasn't like, you know how sometimes it's like, oh, they got a haircut. Oh, okay. Like, you know how you need to compute? I didn't feel like...
That's what we were risking.
Well, I didn't feel like that. Yeah.
Oh.
How much time passes between you being like, I should get a haircut and like pulling the trigger, booking an appointment?
I cut this myself.
Wow.
Yeah, he went at it with a...
Yeah.
Saw Natalie's story.
Wow. That's brave. Have you ever cut your own hair?
Well, I mean, it's not really a lot of risk here.
I shaved someone's head once.
6 clip
or
the
buzzed
size.
it, I guess.
It's not that short.
It was at Northwestern. It was a freshman. It was in, God, what was the one that all the RTVF people lived in? There was 2 of them.
Oh my God, West Fairchild and East Fairchild.
Like,
I was in West Fairchild.
In a common room, and this like British guy just emerged and was like, you want to buzz my head? And I was like, sure. And he bent over a trash can and I buzzed his head.
So what I'm hearing is you guys don't mind it, but it's not your favorite look.
I don't mind it.
I think it has a shot at the title, but I don't think it gets the title.
It's a different look.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have 0 issues. Solid look.
Does it make me look more dangerous?
No. If that was your goal.
How does it make me look?
Like
a,
I don't
like, I think you look younger.
Younger.
Yeah.
More like younger, more Midwestern boy.
Yes.
Yeah.
But not to an extreme.
Okay.
It's like, obviously you still dress the way you dress. It's not
Yeah.
like a full rebrand or anything. It's just like a little,
It's just like, ooh.
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
a little bit of whimsy.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
And if that's not a pitch to get the people on
YouTube.
listening audio to YouTube, get on over
Come on
here.
over.
Come on, you can
The
leave some
water's
comments, stir
warm.
some shit. I'll read them. It will be great. I did actually, something I would like everyone in the room's opinion on is there's this written Ask Nick, and it has to do with kind of like the breakdown of rent, moving in with a partner.
Oh.
And I find that stuff so fascinating. And I think it's so, it's just really charged and money's uncomfortable to talk about. So I wanted to like read this scenario and hear everyone's kind of opinion with the understanding that we do have semi-limited details, but I think it's enough to kind of paint a picture. So this person was recently offered an opportunity to transfer to where her boyfriend lives for a job. And after talking to him, we both agreed it was a great step in our relationship for me to accept this transfer and move in with him. It's only been a couple weeks of us living together. So far, it's going amazing. With that being said, we've had some changes within our living situation since moving in with him a couple weeks ago. When I originally moved in with him, he had 3 other roommates in a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath apartment. Oof. A few days ago,
They're
roommate,
all sharing one shower?
yeah, that's brutal.
Oh, that's going to be
brutal.
a
How many
nasty
are there?
shower.
So he had 3 other roommates in a 3. So
Who's sharing a room?
yeah,
I'm carrying the one and we got a straggler.
who's sharing a room?
We got
Which of these boys are sharing a room?
bunk beds.
I really,
There's 4 guys.
yeah, in a 3-bedroom.
Okay.
1 shower, 2 toilets.
You know that shower's dusty.
How old are these guys? College? Is this college?
That I am not. I do not know.
The guys in Vegas that bought us drinks, not the pool man, but the later on guys, They lived in a 3-bedroom. It was like 3 guys all living together in Chicago, and they were in like their 30s, which surprised me. But I guess some people are just popping off in the roommate department.
I never had a roommate in college. Like, I always lived in my own room.
What?
Yeah. Because I'd had a roommate at boarding school when I was there in like
And you
Italy.
lit her hair on fire in her sleep. They wouldn't let you have one.
Anyway, back to these people. I'm going to say they're in their mid-20s.
Are we just guessing?
Yes. We're guessing.
I'm going to say.
Yeah, we don't know. I'm
going to say they're in their mid-20s. So when she first moves in, he had 3 other roommates, 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath apartment. A few days ago, his roommates told us they're moving out, so it's just going to be him and I in the apartment, which for our relationship will be fantastic.
The writer?
So she's a girlfriend who's moving in with her boyfriend because she just got a job offer. Before they were like long distance, like they lived a few hours apart.
Okay. And she's moving in with him and
So there's 5 people living in a 3-bedroom apartment with 1 shower?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
What in the New Girl is this?
Okay.
What in the New Girl?
Oh.
And so she's like, this is going to be awesome for our relationship. It will be lovely to live alone, just him and I. On the other hand, that means he's going to go from paying a fourth of the rent with roommates to be paying the entire rent with no roommates. So more backstory
Is she paying rent?
Here's the backstory. I am currently locked in a lease with my previous roommate in the city I just moved out of until February of 2024. I told my roommate, blank, that I would continue paying my part of rent until I could find somebody to take over my part of the lease so she wouldn't have to worry about finding a new place to live. I told my boyfriend before we were moving in together that while I'm still paying rent at my previous apartment, I can't afford to pay rent with him. He was and still is very accepting of this. However, now the roommates are moving out of our current apartment, I feel as a partner, I want to contribute to our financial living situation. Maybe a love style of finance feels welcome in this scenario. So I've reached out to some friends to see if they would be interested in taking over my lease with my previous apartment I just moved out of. And I have a couple girls interested, which is great. Also, we're very lucky that my boyfriend makes enough money to pay the entire rent for us while I am continuing to pay rent for my previous apartment. My question is...
So why was he living with so many people?
So many questions.
Bill Gates over here. All right.
He's like in a clown car.
Literally,
he's like working for a tech
I'll
company.
Just buy 4 of these cars.
My question is, when I am no longer financially responsible for rent at my previous apartment, what is a fair amount for me to offer to pay rent with my boyfriend when he makes 30% more than me?
Those are great questions. I think it's nice of her to accommodate her friend, but I don't think she owes it to her friend.
I agree.
To pay rent through February of 2024.
I absolutely do. You sign that lease together. You fill it or you pay it.
No, you break the lease.
No,
you
because
pay a penalty.
Are you going to pay that penalty in full?
Yes.
It's not the roommate's fault.
Yeah, if you're the one who's
that's
moving
my
out,
choice.
you pay the
penalty.
in full, I'd say.
And the penalty, my understanding of most places, it's like a month and a half of rent, or even if it's 2 months of rent.
Yeah.
And maybe it's 3 months of rent. Why? She's going to pay rent for 10 months?
No, she said she's going to pay rent until she finds someone to fill it.
What if she can't?
Yeah.
I see now that
Shouldn't
she's
have moved out.
Made this agreement, with her
What do you mean?
roommate.
You're not being reason. You're not. Listen, she doesn't have to financially do it. Like the fact that she signed a lease, whatever. There are penalties for breaking a lease, and when you sign a lease, you should understand. Listen, life happens. Shit happens. We can't predict the future. So if you sign a lease of any lease, you should know what your outs are, right? And all leases have some sort of out. They cost money, and we hate the idea of paying rent for something we're not going to use. But she is thinking about paying rent for 10 months for a place she's not going to live in, which, God, her roommate, what a dream to have her own place and only have to pay half the rent. That's just not reasonable. Great on her for saying, hey, I'm going to try to do you a solid and find someone to take the spot. But also, and she's not incentivizing her friend to do anything about her situation.
Right.
She's saying, I'm going to pay for this rent if I find someone or not. And if not, I'm just going to pay for it. If I'm the friend, I'm going to be I hope you don't find anyone. Because either way, I got a place to myself. Why would I want to do that? I don't want to have to get to know a new roommate or live with someone I'm not even comfortable with. There's no incentive for their friend to find someone to replace her.
Totally.
And it
But
sucks.
it's not her responsibility to replace her.
No, I'm not saying it is. But she doesn't owe the friend anything other. She can say, I can't, I'm moving. Some shit happened. So I need to break the lease. If you want to stay here, then you need to find someone. Otherwise, it's on me. This is not your fault for breaking the lease. So I will pay the fine in full. You unfortunately have to find a new place or find a new roommate. That I apologize. I'm sorry I'm inconveniencing your life, but like, I'm not going to pay 10 months worth of rent. I'll pay the penalty, whatever it is. I guarantee you it's not 10 months of rent. And that's what she should do. And like, she doesn't owe the friend 10 months worth of rent.
I wonder if it's like, and granted, I'm sure there's like backstory, but I think to Allie's point, like, I do think, especially if you're going into this with like, if this is an existing friendship, like this isn't just like a roommate, like this is someone who I care about and who I love.
Sure. Which, so they both need to figure it out. But like the idea that this girl is moving, like making a life choice, and that she's solely responsible for everything. No, I mean, listen, because you're talking about the friendship, right?
Right.
Like, we on the same page, like in terms. So the friends make sacrifices for friends. As her friend in theory should be maybe sad to see her friend go, but like support her friend on this journey of moving in with her boyfriend. And as friends, sometimes we take on inconveniences for the sake of the friendship. So they both should be friends in this situation, and as such, they should deal with the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like it might have been a prudent like idea to go into this and say like, kind of set a time limit of like, hey, like first of all, offering and being like, it is fully on the table for us to break the lease, me to take on all the financial costs of that, like taken care of, or like, I'm willing to pay rent for up to 3 months and we'll both hit the ground running looking for a roommate. That way, like the roommate also has some incentive to like participate in the search.
Well, but which happens first? So I'm willing to pay rent up to 3 months, and then what happens if you don't break the lease? And then are they still solely responsible for whatever the penalty is for breaking the lease? So let's say it's 2 months worth of rent. That's the penalty. Well, then now they're paying 5 months worth of rent. That completely changes.
Yeah, I think maybe it should be like kind of an either or. So it would be like, I think if I were in this situation, I would have, I think like hit the ground running, obviously like try to fill the lease as soon as possible. But assuming like that wasn't feasible, being like, hey, do you want me to pay rent for 3 months or break the lease, pay the penalty? Let's say it was a scenario where the penalty was 2 months rent. Then I'd be like, if you want, I'll pay rent for like 1 month. And then after that month, based on how it's looking like prospects wise, we can I'll pay 2 more months, but then you'll be on the hook for that thereafter, or we can put this money towards the breaking the lease fee.
Yeah, but there's some variables. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel strongly in the fact that it is not solely on the responsibility of the person who wrote in, who moved.
She's being very accommodating.
She's being incredibly accommodating, too accommodating. Now, back to the question of her boyfriend makes more than her.
Right.
30% is a decent amount of money, but it's not like a huge amount more. I mean, if you're making 2, 3, 4 times more, let's say you're making $60K a year and your partner makes $150K a year. Well, that makes a difference. Also, it depends on where you live, right? So like if let's say you meet someone, they're a doctor and they're 5 years older than you. They're well into their career. They're, whatever. They're making real money. And let's say you're not. Maybe you're still in school. Maybe you're getting your master's, or maybe you just don't make as much. Maybe you're a teacher, and you meet this person. You've been dating for 6 months. They're like, I want you to move in. Well, they want you to move into their super expensive apartment that you wouldn't otherwise live in. Then it maybe makes sense for the person who's making more to say, well, listen, I can afford this place on my own. I want to live here regardless. So like, what can you do to help? That's different than being a couple who like finds a place together and making 30% more. That's not nothing, but it's not so substantive that like, is it really worth you only paying 30% less in the relationship thing? Are you really going to start like pinching pennies that way? Are you going to like divide everything down? Like, are you really going to be counting numbers and finances at the point where like, because you make 30% less, you should pay 30% less of everything? That just seems exhausting. In this particular situation, one, I think she should set new expectations with the friend. And I'm sorry you already set these other expectations, and I know it might lead to a more different conversation, but like, I think you need to, if you are so afraid of having this conversation with your friend, then you need to get better at conflict.
Yeah.
Whoever wrote in. because you shouldn't have agreed to this. So you go back to the friend and say, hey, listen, I can't afford to
circumstances have changed.
I've looked into it. The penalty is X. Like, I am happy to pay for the full penalty. I'm also happy to look, but like you said, I can only do it for so long, but like, here's my budget and whatever, and drastically change the expectations. Hopefully your friend is as accommodating and they should be. Like, listen, it's a bummer for them. You are inconveniencing their life, but like, that shit happens.
That's your 20s.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, these callers are like 57.
and
like
then,
in the nursing home.
Yeah.
And then as far as this goes, it's a little different because you're moving into his place and it's like a little bit more expensive, but also like, have the conversation. Do you guys really want to stay there? Like, why do you guys need a 3-bedroom place with 1.5 bathrooms?
Yeah, I'm intrigued by that. And also, yeah, like, why was this boy just like really close with his roommates, having a great time living with them? If he could afford to pay 4 times the amount that he was paying in rent.
Well, that's all relative per se, like.
Yeah. And if he can technically afford the full rent, but then it means that he can't afford to do date night or go on trips or do anything that they're used
or just
to
save
doing.
the amount of money he wants to save.
Yeah.
So afford is relative,
Right.
like he has the money, he can make it work, might be more realistic than afford. So have the conversation. But I
Yeah.
think 30% is not such a significant number. I think you should split rent. That's what I think. I think if your partner only makes 30% more than you, I think you should just split the rent. Yeah, I don't think
agree
you
with
should
that. I
get
think
into a
it makes it
situation
easier.
where people don't owe it to everyone to say how much they make. And just because they're crushing life doesn't mean they necessarily owe more. I mean, it's, again, if you want to, this is such a, like, there's so many grays in this conversation.
Right.
I just think 30% is not such a large number that you should start like expecting to pay 30% less. Again, if it's substantially more, if they're the ones who want you to move into their expensive place, that makes sense. If you're just like, listen, I can't afford this. So like, if you want me there, I can't be expected to pay what you're paying. Type of thing.
Yeah, it seems like they really were like, well, it will basically be like nothing's changed because I'll just be sleeping and living with you, but like you'll still be paying rent like you were before with your boys, and I'll still be paying rent with this other apartment before. And so that's why like the boys moving out threw such a wrench into things. Because I could see how you would kind of like be like, oh, it's easy peas, like path of least resistance. Like, he's willing to let her stay with him for free because he knows she's still paying off her apartment. It's good for him that she's like, she kind of took the plunge and moved to be with him. But it is, yeah.
But also, like, if I'm one of the roommates too, it's just like, and this happens with roommates all the time. 2 people get a roommate, one person gets a partner. That partner is sleeping over every night, eating out of the fridge, hanging on the common. Why aren't they paying fucking rent? It's
Literally.
not now.
Like,
it's 3
it's
people
like
are living
Broad
there instead of
City.
2, and it's just like, wait, why are we splitting rent when there's 3 people living here?
Yeah.
And so they agreed to something. I'm guessing without checking with the other roommates. Of like, she was just going to move in and not pay rent in a place that's already overcrowded,
Yeah.
And so
Mhm.
it seems like this couple needs to get better at setting upfront expectations with each other. I'm glad it's on their mind.
Yeah. And it seems like they're really happy and they have enough like kind of financial padding that it's like not dire. And so therefore they're probably able to approach this with like a little bit more like kind of calmness, and like their stakes are a bit lower in the sense that like no one's like, fuck,
Yeah.
I can't afford to live.
Exactly.
Like,
And if you can promise your roommate to pay their half of the rent for 10 months without you living there, then you can just split rent with your boyfriend.
True. Words to live by.
Or even, yeah, there's also a solution too. If she's like, great, I have to pay out this penalty. So for the next 2 months, I can't pay with you. But then once we're done with that,
Yeah.
Then
I'll pay half.
Then we split it.
Definitely. Also, 30% is such a specific
Oh my
amount.
God,
Like,
such a specific number.
it makes me think that they both make a lot of money and like work and find,
Well,
or like
okay,
who
let's
knows,
say
but like
what's 70% of 60K?
60K, it would be around like 30% would
42.
be around 20.
42. Okay, I mean, that's definitely a different number, that's for sure.
But like, what if he's making like 90 and she's making like 60?
60.
63?
It's not nothing, that's for sure. Again, it all matters.
He's
Can you
making $1.2 billion.
It just comes down to whoever makes more money, who's driving the decision on where you live?
Yeah.
Who's driving the decision for how much rent is? And if the person who's making more is driving that decision because they make more, they need to make up the difference. If you guys agree to find a place on your own that you both can afford, then you should split it.
Absolutely. And it seems like they are in a good place and everything will go well. But should things take a horrible turn for the worse,
Don't say
they
it,
can
Amanda.
navigate to
Don't do it.
our breakup song of the week playlist. This song,
No, he'll sing this to his roommates.
yeah.
That's the true breakup.
Yeah, I'm like, I wonder where they went. And also, I wonder, wait, also,
Where did they go?
I wonder if they moved out because he was like, what the fuck? Your girlfriend's just living with us now?
Yeah.
Like, there's
Truly. Yeah.
so much there. Thank you for writing in. That was such a rich discussion. So, also, the person who submitted breakup song of the week said, I have an upbeat breakup song for y'all. It is Sad Song by Parson James. The line they wanted to highlight, short and sweet, was, and you were no good for me, and I was no good for you. They said, this song helped me get over a very toxic relationship many years ago. I feel that in breakups, we have the tendency to want to place all the blame on the other person and wallow in anger or disappointment towards everything they did to hurt us. However, we don't always reflect on how we were as a partner. Sometimes two people are just oil and water, and it's not one's fault or both people's fault. I used to play this song in my car and scream, you were no good for me and I was no good for you, and it was so therapeutic. Our relationship brought out toxic behaviors in both of us, and we both needed to wake up and realize that. I am now happily married to the love of my life,
Aw.
and we truly bring out the best in each other. I'm so grateful for what I learned about myself as a partner in my failed relationship so I can be my best self in this one.
Nick.
That was borderline sarcastic.
No, that's great. Well, we have a great episode lined up for you today. Don't forget to send in those questions at AskNick@theviallfiles.com for all things Ask Nick, texting office hours, spent the wedding, all of the above. We certainly always appreciate you writing in, sharing your vulnerable stories. Don't forget that everyone is anonymous, so you don't have to worry about anything like that. We, fake name, real age, as we always say to the people who call in. In addition to the update special that we dropped last Friday behind Viall Files Plus, we do have an update special for y'all all, for everyone to listen to on Viall Files Classic this Friday, so be sure to check it out. And again, if you are starving for more of the updates, if you're constantly wondering what happened with them, what's going on, we're giving you guys so many of these updates behind Viall Files Plus. So check out the one available to everyone this Friday. Go back and check out all the ones that you missed in Viall Files Plus if you haven't signed up already. Viall Files Plus is free to sign up. It's a 7-day free trial, so check it out if you haven't already. We do 2 update specials every month. We do Better Late Than Never episodes every week. Every Friday, we do our pop culture roundup for all things pop culture we don't get to on Viall Files Classic, on Freestyle or Going Deeper. And plus, we have our Vanderpump recap starting from season 1 around the corner, so check that out or look out for that. Tomorrow, we are premiering Charity Season, so should be a fun way to kick that off. We have a wild rest of the week lined up for you, so be excited for that. All right, let's get to our callers.
Question time with Nick. Let's ask Nick your sexy questions.
How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
My name's Chloe. I'm 23 and I am dating a bad kisser and I don't know what to do.
Okay. How long you been dating for?
We've only been on 2 dates, so it's still pretty early, but immediately I noticed, so it changed my whole perspective.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad?
I would say probably like a 5, maybe less than a 5. I just
5's average.
couldn't get into it.
5's
Okay.
average.
All right, 3.
Describe the kiss to me.
So we kissed a couple times.
How's his breath?
His breath is good. He smells really good, actually.
Smells real good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But it just like once you try to progress the kiss into more of like a makeout, into something more, it wasn't flowing. It felt like he didn't know what to do, or like he was almost being maybe too respectful. But I tried to deepen the kiss and it just did not happen.
So I have found that when people are bad kissers, it's one of 2 things. It's either too much or not enough. And so it sounds like it's not enough on your end.
Not enough.
Okay. So like just describe it in more detail. Try to give specifics.
He like didn't use enough tongue. I would try to go in with my tongue and he just like wouldn't move. And I tried to do a little lip bite. It's just like he wasn't receptive. I don't know if it was being like too timid or if he was nervous.
How much did you guys kiss? How many times have you guys
3.
kissed?
And every time I had to stop because every time I was like, I can't do it. I literally don't know how to kiss you.
And what is his reaction?
it seems like he enjoyed it. He kept going in like to kiss me again, but I didn't understand.
Okay. How old is he?
25.
Gotcha. What do we know about this guy?
We have a lot in common. Conversation really flowed. He is very respectful of my boundaries, and seems to make an effort to want to hang out, which is great. I feel like he just has all these really good qualities that I've been looking for in a potential partner.
You find him attractive? You find him nice?
Yeah, I find him attractive.
Because like 2 dates isn't much, so everything else must be pretty solid, except there's this kissing problem.
Yes, exactly. And that's my problem. Usually in the past, when I've dated bad kissers, it's an immediate, absolutely not. Like, kissing is so important to me.
Sure. Kissing is a dance like anything else, but it's a learned behavior. So the big question is, how do we address this, right? Because ideally you'd like to keep hanging out with them.
Yes, ideally. But also, I mean, again, yeah, we've only been on 2 dates. So I guess the question is this more of a sign that something is off, that we aren't compatible? So I just don't understand how you're like 25 and you've been in relationships and you don't know how to kiss.
It doesn't know how to kiss like you like to kiss, or, I don't know. How do we address it? We don't want to emasculate the guy. Like, I don't think, hey, you're a bad kisser isn't going to go well. You kiss him next time, and maybe you just say, it feels like we're not on the same page when we kiss.
Okay. I think that's a good line.
Because I think you have to make it more about the two of you and less about him.
Mm-hmm.
You almost have to pretend that you're part of the problem.
Okay, I agree. That was my question of how do I address it without making him feel like I think he's a bad kisser.
You just make it more about like, can I show you how I like to be kissed? Something like that. Then it's not about how he kisses. It's just that you want to teach him how you like to be kissed. Everyone likes to be kissed differently. Now, depending on how much of a king he is or how much of a toxic fuckboy he is, like, we'll see how open he is to notes, right? Because if you say it in a way that's kind of like flirty and fun, just be like, can I like to be kissed a certain way. Can I show you?
I think that's great. And I guess
kind of hot,
I think
it's kind of cute.
I guess the question is, what happens if it doesn't.
Well, if he gets defensive or he says like, well, I like to kiss this way, or I don't need to know how to be kissed, or any type of defensiveness, that can be a sign of maybe he's not all that great.
Yeah, for sure.
That can be your ick, because it was like the kiss, while an ick wasn't enough of an ick to, have you say, fuck this guy. And then you got to make it less, like, you just have to talk, to him. It's not a reflection of him. It's just like, hey, everyone kisses differently. Everyone likes different things. If you've listened to the show, we've often talked a lot recently about people talking about intimacy in sex and foreplay before they get involved in intimacy in sex and foreplay. So, couple dates in, what have you guys talked about? What are some conversations that you've talked about?
Mainly just like our interests, and we actually went to the same like college town, and we both moved to this town. So I just moved here. He moved here a year ago. So he's been giving me some advice and tips, and just the normal stuff. So nothing like sexual.
Nothing sexual. Do you just get a vibe he wants to be respectful? Like, can you introduce the conversation without turning it completely into sex?
I think so.
What if you just like ask him like, what turns you on?
Yeah, I definitely get the vibe that he's just trying to be respectful, which is great. We love a respectful king, but there's a time and place for it where sometimes you just want a little bit more like passion. Yeah,
maybe you just like, and it doesn't even have to be the next date. You could put up with some bad kissing for a couple more dates. I don't know. But whenever you're comfortable, maybe you just say, listen, like, something I like to do is just kind of talk openly about intimacy and expectations, because not enough people do that. And I'm just curious, what turns you on? And if he gets like juvenile or like weirded out by it or like shocked, your reaction should just be like, why, what's the big deal here? Not defensiveness. You just be like, no, I just think not enough people like are open to talking about this. I don't think a lot of guys are going to turn down a conversation about like what turns you on. But I'm just saying, you bring up a conversation like this so that it doesn't come across as like, let me teach you how to kiss or why are you a bad kisser. You're basically trying to make them feel like the way they kiss is not on trial here. So you figure out a way to bring up a conversation about intimacy or foreplay or like, you know, like, I really like you. I think you're sexy. And like, what are your thoughts on sex and dating? You know, it's hookup culture. It's 2023. Like I like talking about it before I engage in it. And I think it's good that I like to set up front expectations. And so you get in the conversation around sex and dating, and then you start asking him what he likes, what's he enjoy. And then you wait to see if he asks you what you like or what you enjoy. If he doesn't, you have the right to say, are you going to ask me what I like and what I enjoy? And then you can be like, oh yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. Yeah. And they'd be like, all right, well, like I like to be kissed a certain way. Can I show you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And if he says something like, would you not like how I kiss you? You just say like, well, it's not, oh, I just like to be kissed a certain way. Try to always not say it in a confrontational way. And maybe the best response is, I just hope it's okay for me to tell you what I like. I want a relationship where both people are interested and doing what the other person likes done for them is, within reason. So yeah, if he gets a defensive, I'm spitballing here. I'm working through this in my head, but if he gets defensive at anything like that, or like, oh, well, you don't like the way I kiss, you just be like, it has nothing to, no, what do you mean? Everyone's different. I don't want to assume that you're like any guy I ever dated. I assume you're specific and I want to meet your needs. What do you like?
I have faith that he will be receptive. So far, he's very communicative. I feel like he doesn't really, I haven't seen any toxic masculinity, at least.
Give it time.
So I think that he will enjoy that as well. And maybe that'll just kickstart our relationship into something more physical. And that's a great way to, I guess, bring up the conversation.
Yeah. And just make it seem like you're the weirdo almost. I'm kind of kidding, but the fact that you like to be kissed and says, for all you know, he just kind of dated bad kissers as well. And he learned from a bad kisser.
That's what I was thinking.
And so when he does something right, it's like training a dog. Truly. When you train a dog, you just always have a bunch of treats in your pocket. And anytime they do something that you like, you validate them with a treat. Men are pretty similar. Validate them with a compliment. Like, that's hot. So he does something and you're just like, oh, it's so hot. See, when he takes a note from you, tell him how hot that is. That's so hot. That's so sexy. Oh, that turns me on. Oh my God, you're the sexiest when you do that. So anytime he does something that you like, that you want him to do, validate him by making him feel like he's the sexiest man alive. And you basically train your boyfriend like you train a dog.
Sounds good. Noted.
I'm dead serious. Yeah. They're very simple. The men are a lot like dogs. We've often referred to them as dogs when we're criticizing them, but we also love dogs. They're lovable, they're simple.
Enthusiastic.
They're enthusiastic, Make him feel good about himself, and he will kind of do anything that, makes you think that he's a king. So it's maybe something as simple as like, I have a weird, I love to be kissed a certain way, and I think you're so hot, and can I show you how I love to be kissed? And he'd be like, sure. And then he does it, and then you talk to him, and you have a little tutorial. Then he does it, and you're like, oh, that's so fucking hot. Kiss me every way that time now. Or something like that. And he should be coachable.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know, just if I try and teach him and it doesn't work, that's what I'm most nervous about.
It should work. It just should work.
Hopefully.
Because kissing is it's a dance, but you have to kind of have notes early on, like a lot of little tongue, lot of tongue. I don't know.
Because it feels like he's being tentative, right?
Yeah. I want to feel how bad you want to kiss me without you ripping out my tongue. I don't want you to stick your tongue down my throat because yuck. But I want to feel like you really want to kiss me.
Exactly. It doesn't feel like he really wants to. Tells me he does, but I'm not getting that vibe.
And maybe it's something like, you can be like, I feel like you might be a little shy around me. Or you could say, I feel like you're holding back with me. With guys, this is a fine line between like their willingness to like learn and be, better lovers and feeling emasculated and then getting defensive and toxic. It's all about communication, because I think a lot of people are like, ew, like you're a bad kisser. And like, why do you kiss that way? Or like, that's weird. Like they're not going to respond favorably. But if you do it in a way that is like makes him feel like attractive and like, I'm so turned on by you. I love the way you smell. You smell so fucking good. Like you spend most of, you gas him up a little bit and then you hit him with like critique and he doesn't even think it's a critique because he's already thinking how good he smells or how good you think he looks. And this is just all about like, hey, can you do this thing for me that really turns me on?
Or if you're like at a dinner, and maybe I don't know if this would be too much for you, but like if you're like, sorry, I'm thinking about is how the second we leave, I want you to press me up against the wall and kiss me. Like something like that, because then it's like a little more like wink, wink. I want you to press me up against, like I want you to do something here. Like would be another like kind of tactic if you're want to have like a bunch of different ways that you could bring it up or like kind of reinforce it differently.
For sure.
Yeah, just never say he's a bad kisser. Right. So I just think you just keep giving him notes until he figures it out without ever saying he's a bad kisser. It's just, you're just not on the same page.
I think that's the core problem.
I've always thought of Al as a pretty damn good kisser. But when Natalie and I started dating, we talked about how we like to be kissed. I have given people and I've received notes about like things they like that my exes didn't like. Not everyone likes to be kissed the same way. Not everyone likes to have sex the same way. Not everyone likes foreplay the same way. And so we have to be mindful about that. So it's not that hard. I think he needs someone like you who likes him enough to be patient, because most people in your shoes would just go, ew, bad kisser, next.
And that's what I've done in the past, but I couldn't bring myself to end it. He's just too nice. We had too good of a time.
You just make it just be like, I'm a very specific kisser and I want to be kissed this way. And I think it's so hot and I want to show you how to kiss me the way I love because it turns me on so much.
Maybe a little like teasing of, oh, are you shy around me or something like that?
Fine line. Just be careful. That's the most you want to go. You just don't want him to think that you think he's a bad kisser.
Absolutely.
Because that will get in
and I
his
don't want to
head.
make him feel bad.
Yeah, this is more about like you two just like you have a thing that you like that you want to show him.
And about us getting on the same page.
Yeah. I like a little tongue, I like a little dance in the mouth. I don't know what the fuck you say, but
dance in the mouth.
it should be hot. It should be fun. I'll do anything if you kiss me like this. I
have multiple ideas now of how to bring up and sort of try and fix the situation and communicate and just try and get on the same page. And I think it'll work out. I have faith that he'll be receptive.
I think so too. And I think unless he's just a total dum-dum, he should be able to take a note.
Last question is just, where are these kisses happening like very specifically? Like, are they happening indoors, outdoors?
Indoors, completely alone, like in either of our apartments.
Okay.
He just kind of opens, what is it? Just open the mouth? Does he give you pecks or what?
He's just like, oh.
It's like opening, but it's not open enough. Like I can't even work with the opening that you're giving me.
Just tell him you want him to dance with your tongue. Dance with my mouth. I don't know, because that's kind of what it is.
Definitely. Or like a flow.
Right? A good kiss. Yeah, a good kisser. Two people who enjoy good makeout is like there's a
rhythm.
There's a rhythm. You're in sync. You're just kind of dancing with each other's tongues, right? You're popping in and out. You're just caressing each other's lips. It's always like this idea of like, I can't get enough of you energy and without like ripping their mouth off.
That's the energy I'm missing.
Yeah. All right. Well, let us know. I mean, this is really, because, I'm not like some makeout expert, obviously, and this is all about communication. So I'm really curious if this works for you, for other people out there who I'm sure experience a bad kisser, especially with men. I'm here to please, so to speak. That's how a guy should, that's the energy I would want him to have. But yeah, I'm curious. I am curious. You can be our, exhibitionist of is it possible? This is the big question. Is it possible to coach up someone on kissing to the way you like to be kissed? Can you turn this guy into a great kisser?
We're going to find out. I'll keep you updated for sure.
For us, for the show, for society in general, I want you to commit to, as long as he's respectful and you enjoy his company, I want you committed to making him a good kisser.
I will. I'll try my best. That's why I even wrote in too, because I hadn't heard any of my friends be like, this guy is a bad kisser, but I still want to date him and I don't know what to do. And all my friends were like, yeah, you should just break up with him, which honestly, same, but we'll see.
Yeah, but that's not a solution.
I don't think it is either.
Yeah, I want to see if you can make him an amazing kisser.
Ethically, I cannot let him go being a bad kisser. I feel like I need to help him.
Yes, this ends now and it ends with you.
You'll find out a lot the first time you try to bring it up. Hopefully he's receptive to it. And if he's receptive to it, then I think there's huge upside.
I think so too. I'll definitely keep in touch and let you know. I'm happy to lead this experiment for everybody.
All right, here we go. I'm excited. I appreciate you calling. I look forward to your follow-up. It will be an ongoing dialogue. Yeah, take notes. Let us know.
I will. Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. For anybody listening in who has a line that they would say or like a way that they would approach this, or who has dealt with this situation in the past of dating a not so good kisser, like, we want to know. Please, in the comments, like, say what you have done.
Well, this is a tough one. I mean, I don't, it's not like there's like a black and white, like, oh yeah, say or do this, because
Right.
you're dealing with, people's sensitivity and feelings and
Very delicate.
But who taught these people to not use their tongue?
I don't know. Now I'm like, what if I'm a horrible kisser and nobody's ever told me?
I guarantee you someone has. I've been not in sync with someone kissing.
Yeah.
And I thought they weren't a good kisser. I can't imagine they thought I was great either. Right? If you think it's an interesting, because if you think they're a bad kisser.
Do they
it's
think
like
you're a bad kisser?
if they think you're not using enough tongue, they think you're using too much. Maybe. I don't know, but maybe that's just what they're. But who? There's nothing hot about just opening your mouth, and that's called literally mouth to mouth.
I also think with the too much tongue direction, like, there is a very clear threshold where I think once it passes that, like, it is so much tongue. And like, not to say that, like,
but only if you two are very upfront expectations.
Yeah.
Because I've had people like, I love like a really aggressive tongue makeout, but when you know it's coming, then it's hot, especially when you know that they think it's hot. Because to me, so much about like fooling around and making out is just knowing it turns the person on. Right.
And it's like, it's a back and forth like connection thing.
Yeah. I guess if it's just like, listen, I just love to open up my mouth and not do anything, super turns me on. Like, that might be weird, but like.
It's like Pillow Princess, but make it a black hole of the mouth. Like, what is going on?
I mean, that's the other thing. Kissing is like the baseline for like feeling connected and kissing, and.
Totally.
I don't know. But yeah.
Tell us.
I'm really curious if we can turn someone into a good kisser.
Yes. And if you have lived this experience,
let us know.
We're curious.
Please. If you're looking for a new mattress in your life, look no further than Helix Mattress. They are the greatest mattress company in the world. I have been sleeping on a Helix mattress for the better part of 4 years now, and every time I leave home, I cannot wait to get back on my bed. It's truly an incredible mattress. I am a Helix customer for life. And the best part about Helix, they have a mattress for everyone. Whether you're a side sleeper, a back sleeper, whether you sleep hot, sleep cold, Helix Mattress has a collection and a variety of different mattresses that fit every kind of sleeper, and you can find one that's perfect for you. You simply just go to helixsleep.com and you take a quick assessment of the type of sleeper that you are. They will find one that fits your needs. I have the Moonlight mattress. I'm a bit of a side sleeper. It works for both Natalie and I. We are obsessed with it. Truly, it is incredible. I get frustrated if I hear anyone I know say they have any other mattress than Helix. I insist that they get it. You will not be steered wrong. Trust me when I say it is an incredible mattress. No box springs required. And not to mention, you don't have to take my word for it. You get a 100-night trial on this bad boy. Try it for 100 nights. And if you don't like it, they'll just take it back. You also get a 10 to 15-year warranty on your Helix mattress, depending on the mattress. But they believe in their mattress, and you should too. It's such an incredible mattress. I can't say enough of great things about it. And best part is incredibly affordable. And right now, Helix is offering 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Just go to helixsleep.com/VIALL. This is their best offer yet, and it won't last long. So go to helixsleep.com/VIALL. With Helix, better sleep starts now. Need a break from reality? Reality got you down? Well, cheer up, Buttercup, because Paramount Plus has your great reality escape. Escape into new seasons of the biggest competitions like Survivor, Big Brother, The Challenge World Championship, with the boldest personalities from The Family Stallone, RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars, Queen of the Universe, and the wildest drama. Are You the One? Plus hundreds of previous seasons, all streaming at your fingertips. See, reality ain't so bad. Embrace reality. Paramount Plus, stream now. How's it going?
Hi, my name is Jennifer. I'm 26 years old. I'm doing good, but I'm dealing with an issue. My younger brother's girlfriend is manipulating him, and I need help on how to deal with that situation.
What are some things, like, once they started dating, that you started noticing that really...
Yeah, so for sure. I mean, when she has come to our house to like hang out with our family, visit my brother, she doesn't acknowledge any of us. She'll just walk into the house, go straight up to my brother's room, does not say hi to my mom or dad. If we do have family plans, like going out to eat or to the bar to see some live music and she's there, she has a bad mood being around us. She doesn't say thank you to my dad paying for anything. And that she's always late to any family plans we do have that my brother would go to with her. And last year, when he did graduate college, he didn't have a job right away. He wanted to take some time, to himself after graduating. So when he didn't have a job, and this was when they first started dating, he basically was living with her, like right at the beginning of their relationship. So, being at her apartment for like 2 weeks on end before he would come back home. And I've listened to you for a bit, and that's kind of like playing house early in a relationship, which cannot be good. And then when he finally did get a job, she told him herself that she was mad about it because now they wouldn't spend as much time together, which is like, you should be happy he got a job in his major that he's excited about. And, he needs a job. Like,
did you hear that from your brother or her?
From my brother, yeah.
I'm not saying you're wrong for feeling the way you're feeling, but nothing I've heard so far is like a holy shit, like she sucks kind of thing. I get what you're saying about, oh, we got a new job, but she could have just simply said, oh, I'm just like bummed I'm not going to see you as much.
Yeah.
But did she actually expect him not to take the job? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's a difference between like being bummed that he's going to be busy versus actually saying, I don't want you to take this job because I want you to spend more time with me.
Yeah, for sure.
And it could just be, a slightly immature thing to say, or just a slightly needy thing to say. But practically speaking, she doesn't actually think that. Also, the showing up late, she could just, the showing up late, that's just, well, that's inconsiderate, but that doesn't necessarily mean she's undateable.
Yeah.
Or she also could be just shy and quiet or more introverted and less personable. So her personality could easily just be someone who's just more comfortable in a one-on-one environment and just has and feels easily intimidated by the group and things like that. Yeah. So what are some of the more outrageous or egregious things in your mind that she's done that makes you really think that she is being very manipulative and bad for your brother?
So yeah, what I've said so far, I never got involved. I never said anything to that point because like you're saying, that's not really super huge red flags. It could just be who she is, which is, different than me. So, but the point where it got to where I did say one thing already before calling in is that he told me on the phone that she has a therapist, which I also have a therapist. I've been in therapy for the past 2 years, I'd say. And she has a therapist, and apparently she talks about our family to her therapist. And she's telling my brother, your family's toxic. My therapist says your family's toxic. And to me, I had a problem with that because one, she doesn't know any of us enough. She doesn't say hi to any of us. She's never had a sit down conversation with any of us. So how does she know enough about us to talk to her own therapist about us? And for a therapist to say, oh, his family's toxic, I can't imagine a good therapist using that word. Like you to use more constructive feedback or like how to deal with something. And we have been nothing but welcoming to her, since. So I don't really know what her issue is with us. And because of that, now my brother is convinced like the way he was raised was horrible. My parents are horrible. They've disrespected him his whole life. And he's using very negative words about my parents. And he's like threatening to move in with her, like in the next couple of weeks, 3 hours away. So that's kind of gotten to the point where, I'm a little bit concerned because, every family has issues. You can work through them. I myself like worked through them with my dad and everything. But in my personal opinion, it was never that bad. Like we are blessed to have loving parents that care about us. And it's just so disheartening to see him feel this way now about my parents and our family in general, and see him just like not want to interact with us, anymore. Like we used to be so close, and now the girlfriend, he's a totally new person now.
How long have they dated for?
Only like 10 months. And also, my mom kind of did bring that up to him, like, hey, like, you've changed a little bit, like, since you've been dating her. And he tells her everything. Anything that we say to him, he tells her. Even if my parents call him, he's on speakerphone with her. So she hears everything. Or sees any text, anything that comes from us, he's an open book to her. So when my mom said that, his girlfriend turned it around that your mom's calling you a bad person. You're not a bad person. I'm here for you. So I'm like, why is she switching around what my mom is saying? Like,
so just think about when people say you've changed to someone, it's just, I think, very triggering for most people.
yeah,
Because anytime you tell somebody they've changed, there's an implication that they've changed for the worse, not for the best.
yeah,
And so it's just easy to get very defensive. We all change. We're constantly
exactly.
changing,
Yeah.
But I just a note in general, like, you have changed. No one ever, like in the history of hearing that, I think very few people are like, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
let me, it's always very, especially if they have someone on the other end literally saying, yeah, for the better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just a risk to just say you've changed, because it pushes people away rather than, brings them closer to you.
Yeah. And that's like the issue we're having, because none of us know how to deal with this. I have like not really said much to him. I just said the whole therapist question was, a therapist comment was a little manipulative, because I said, to my brother, if you want to find out, work through your own things about how you grew up, our family, get your own therapist, please. Like, I am so here for that. Like, that'd be great for you to do. But having it come from somebody else who's saying, oh, a therapist said this, he's kind of like just believing whatever she says.
Well, I think it's a very fair thing for you to
Yeah.
say. And I think that's what you kind of have to do. Like, these are very difficult situations, and I don't have like some like perfect answer
Yeah.
for you, to like go take back to your family and be like, this is how we defeat her, or this is how we win.
Yeah.
It's tricky because, when it comes to relationships, we want to give our heart and soul, and we want to be teammates with that person. We want to have their back. And, when we feel like people don't, agree with our love or respect our love, we push back and we can be resistant. So I think it's one of those things you just kind of always have to like lead with love type of thing. I think the most you could say is just simply say, like, listen, it really just, at the end of the day, I love you. 1, 2, I just want what's best for you. I just want you to be happy. Whatever that is, I'm here to support your happiness. That being said, I'm just sad that for whatever reason, I feel like, our relationship, your relationship with me and your relationship with the rest of the family has kind of waned in the past few months. It also breaks my heart that your girlfriend is bad mouthing our family or, using her therapist to, I think you want to be very careful about attacking her.
Oh yeah.
So it's just like, it just makes me sad that your girlfriend seems to be against the family. Like you said, like, every family has its ups and downs, but we love you and we just want what's best for you. And we want you to be happy if that's with her, but it doesn't seem right or fair for her to put our family on trial with her therapist.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what I mentioned that one time to him. And we came up with a plan, me and him, that, okay, let's have a sibling day. It'll be her, me, and my other brother. Let's all go to Topgolf or whatever and get to know her more. That's what I offered, even after hearing her saying this stuff.
Yeah.
And then he went back to her with that, down for it. And then after talking to her, he went off on me over text, completely different mood, completely different wording, and basically said, you disrespected my girlfriend. She feels disrespected by you for saying the whole therapist thing is a little manipulative. So now she's like, basically, said, I'm never going to hang out with your sister ever again. I offered, put out a hand, let's get to know her. And she said no, because I disrespected her by calling her out.
I think the best you can do is just point out. It's just like, at the end of the day, I'm willing to accept her. And we're your family.
Yeah.
Whether you want us to be in your life or not, I'll always be your sister. Mom will always be your mom. Dad will always be your dad. You only get one family. And we may not always agree, but we'll always love you. And I hope you feel the same about us. And I'm just concerned that someone in your life is trying to separate you from your family. No one on our side of things has ever claimed to be perfect.
Exactly.
But we definitely love you and want you in our lives. And we just want to have a relationship with you. And I'm concerned that she doesn't want you to have a relationship with us. And I just don't know why that's not a red flag.
Exactly. That's like all that I'm coming from. And he also never sees his friends anymore either, because any free time he has.
How old is he?
He's 23. So it's his first girlfriend.
Yeah. I mean, listen, he might just have to learn the hard way. Yeah. It's his first girlfriend. And like, I think if I were you, I would just text him every week. I love you. Even if you're not talking. I love you. I miss you.
Good idea.
Or every other day. Just, I love you. I miss you. I hope to see you soon. I love you. I miss you. I hope to see you soon. You just really got to kill him with kindness. Because at some point, if she is as bad as you say she is or describe, they're going to hit a bump in the road.
Yeah.
And he needs to know that you're never going to judge him or say, I told you so. It's just like, he needs to know at that point where she becomes the enemy and he's in conflict with her, that he has someone to go and talk to. So you got to play the long game here. There's nothing you're going to say in the short term that's going to magically make him go, you're right, she's a nightmare, I should break up with her.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. He's just in too deep. It's his first girlfriend. He thinks what he's doing is noble, and he's standing up for the woman he loves. And it's just one of those things. So the best thing you can do is to do your best to not talk shit about her, but just point out that his family loves him. All we want to do is be a part of your life. Like, it just seems weird that someone is trying to pull you away from us.
Yeah.
Like, we love you. We just,
Yeah, it just seems she's pulling him away from anybody besides her. And then if he does move, in with her, I don't know if he'll ever come home again.
He can always move out. It's just, how old is this person? Is she older than
She's
him?
younger, I think, like maybe a year younger, so 22. But she's had boyfriends before. He hasn't had girlfriends before, so. And the thing is, like, I've been in bad relationships before. That's why, like, I got into therapy. And my parents, though, like, we've talked about it, like, they're never worried about me because they always knew I'd figure it out. But with him, he's just so, like, a people pleaser and very sensitive, caring guy that can easily get walked over. And, this was kind of like our worst case scenario, of like a type of person he would date.
Well, short of him getting her knocked up or pregnant, I think, unfortunately, you might just have to let this play out. It's frustrating. Clearly, she wants to control this guy.
Yeah, I know. That's the only thing I've said to him, because that's the one I know is like, valid to mention.
I honestly think the best approach is to constantly remind him that you and your family miss him. We miss
Yeah.
you. We love you. Hope to see you soon. We miss you. We love you. Hope to see you soon.
Yeah.
Just keep hitting him with that. I wouldn't argue with him about her
Yeah.
because she has way too much access to him. And you're
Mhm.
right. Like, she'll always get the final say. So he needs to wake up. And the thing to do that is to show that consistency that you accept him for all his faults. So right
Yeah.
now it's we miss you. We love you. Hope to see you soon. And when was the last time he's ever come home without her?
Well, for the first time ever, it was Mother's Day because he went to visit her. So then he came home like slightly earlier than he usually would, but he was still 3.5 hours late, which made our whole plans for the day change, which my mom didn't say anything because she just doesn't want to upset him anymore.
What does mom say to him? Does mom say anything about
Not,
this to
no,
her?
not
him?
anymore. I mean, she used to just say, that he changed, but then that, backfired. And now my parents, like, they don't say anything about her because, like, they know it's just going to push him away. And that's why, like, me as the older sister, like, kind of felt a need to maybe say something. But, I know he needs to learn for himself at the end of the day. It's just tough to see him go through this because I've been in a controlling relationship before and I just see it, what's happening. So it's tough.
Yeah, I think you just have to play the long game and just keep letting him know mom misses him. We miss you. I miss you. I'm always here if you need to talk. And you're just going to have to be patient and wait for the opportunity for her to fuck up. And chances are she will. And then just hope and pray that he doesn't knock her up or propose to her in the meantime. Yeah, he just might be rebelling. I don't know. And he's just going to have to see it for himself.
Yeah, and all of his other friends also have girlfriends, and he could see like they don't have relationships like what they're doing. So, I don't know, but he doesn't see his friends anymore either. So,
but that's his problem, not yours.
Yeah, I know. It's just tough being the older sister, Like I'm the oldest, and I always feel a need to protect like my younger brothers.
But sometimes you have to learn on your own,
Yeah.
Like when you said you were in toxic relationships before, I'm sure people were letting you know and telling you, hey, X, Y, or Z, and you found ways to convince yourself that they were wrong or they didn't know what they were talking about, yada, yada, yada. And, I wish we were all better at learning from other people, but unfortunately, many of us only learn from our own fuck-ups, and until we do, we're really good at convincing ourselves that everyone else with more experience is wrong and we're the exception, or that, they don't understand where we're coming from or why their situation's different than ours or why we're special and yada, yada, yada. And
so then I have one more question because I am going home this weekend and she might be there. So do you think I should still be trying to be like friendly with her?
Yeah. Don't give her the ammunition she wants, right? The best move you can have is to just kill him with kindness. It's kind of like keep your enemies close type of thing.
Yeah.
What you're waiting for is a time where your brother comes to you because he feels safe enough, because it doesn't feel like you're going to judge him. And you're going to do that by just accepting him and letting him know you love him and care about him. You just want him to be happy.
Yeah.
And at some point in the future, the hope is shit's going to hit the fan and he's not going to know who to talk to, because all his friends kind of like, he abandoned all his friends, and his non-judgmental big sister who just wants him to be happy is there to listen and talk.
Yeah.
And then when you do, you just say, hey, listen, like, it just was always concerning that she seemed to want to pull you away from us, not bring you closer. Family's family. And would you want to pull someone away from their family? Do you really think we're toxic? As I've been in a relationship with Natalie for 2.5, 3 years now or whatever, she knows stories about my family. I know stories about her family. And if I wanted to take any specific story and go in to talk to my therapist about like, well, this once happened and Natalie's mom or dad said this, and I just saw that one story and then say, yeah, they're just like that. Yeah, maybe my therapist might say like, oh, well, that sounds pretty toxic. Like fuck, every family has this, a story of a situation that mom and dad or their brother and sister could have handled the situation differently. The point is it's like she's trying to pull him away from the family.
Yeah, and she doesn't seem close to her family either, and she doesn't have any friends that he even knows. So it's kind of like, yeah, like she wants it just them two.
But your brother needs to see that, right?
Yeah.
And so now is not the time to point it out. The time to
Yeah.
point it out is like when he's questioning her. You got to wait till he's unsure about her. When he's just like, I don't know what's wrong, yada yada yada. She's this, she's that. When he's frustrated with her, that's when you're just like, well, listen, like, we've always like had our questions. We want you to be happy. So like we supported you two because we want to support you because we love you. But it always was concerning to us that she seemed to want to isolate you from your friends and your family. And that just doesn't seem healthy at all. Even if we don't agree with everything she does, like we always welcomed her.
Yeah.
So you want to be able to give him examples of all the times that you welcomed her and that you wanted to have both of them in the part of the family.
Yeah.
Not separate them. But it's tough
Yeah.
because I get that you want to just have him see what you see right now. But yeah, it's just, especially that young, we want to have our partners' backs. It's us. It's so easy to go us against the world, and you feel like you're being more protective and romantic, and
Yeah.
he just might have to learn the hard way. But as long as you keep yourself close to him, the better.
Yeah, that's a good plan. Because so far, the only time he's come to me with things was to complain like about our parents because of what his girlfriend put in his head about them. So then kind of backfired because like, I don't agree with what he's saying about our parents, but
I would say something to the effect of like, listen, it hurts me that you feel that way. And we both know that mom and dad aren't perfect, but I do know that we've been lucky enough to have their unconditional love. And I do know, and I hope you feel this, that they've always wanted nothing but the best for us. So imagine, how that might hurt mom and dad to hear, how you feel, being a parent is one of the hardest things, I love you, brother, but like, just consider how that might make mom and dad feel. I just don't agree with you, but like, you have the right to feel the way you do, but I just know that mom and dad love you. And I know mom and dad just want the best from you. And I know they miss you. It's only coming from a place of love. And so, right now they don't say anything to you because they're so afraid of losing you.
Yeah, exactly. That's literally how it is. My mom is so upset about the whole situation. It makes her very sad because she was an only child, so she doesn't like to see, us siblings not being close or just in general, like her not being close with her children. So yeah, it's very disheartening to her to see this happening.
You do not want him to feel like he has to fight back or defend her.
Yeah.
I think your goal in the strategy, again, is making sure your brother feels close with you or safe with you as someone he can confide in whenever he might be ready. That's kind of your goal. Yeah. So you just letting him know that you love him, that you miss him, that you're always there for him, and that you kind of accept him however he might come. I think you just kind of continue to relay that message and just hope that at some point they'll face some conflict and you'll be the person he'll want to talk to.
Yeah.
You have to let him know how worthy he is, how much he has going for him, how attractive he is. When you are alone with him, just be like, man, you're so good looking. You're so talented. Like, like that sister that's, you could have, you got to gas him up. This relationship he's in, these types of relationship, if she's that type of person who tries to separate from his family, she's probably nagging. She probably belittles him. She probably, in the meantime, makes him feel small at times. So like, eventually, if that is the case, eventually that will wear down. And you be the person who's always gassing him up, who's always making him feel good about himself, to always let him know that he's capable of everything. Again, you got to play the long game here. In the meantime, you're going to be very frustrated. It's going to feel like she's winning all the time because she has all the access. But you just be there to like swoop in at the right time. This is like a timing thing, Yeah. It'll happen. Talking shit about her and criticizing her is only going to trigger him and make him want to defend his girlfriend. And that's what's going to push you guys away. So the I told you so or the lecture or the critique comes after he realizes his mistake.
Mhm.
You know, right now, you just have to set yourself up to be there for him when he needs you. I know it kind
Yeah.
of sucks, but you kind of have to do it that way.
Yeah,
You know, it's the same thing when your friend's dating someone toxic or whatever. Like,
for sure.
that desire to make a relationship work is so strong that people are so blinded by, you know, some of these behaviors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good luck.
Please let us
Yeah.
know how this trip goes.
Let us know. Keep us posted. But yeah, I know. Probably not a very satisfying solution.
No, it's okay. It makes sense because usually I go in like hardball, you know, but I guess I'll go softly this time and see how that plays out.
All right. Keep us posted.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Good luck.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.
Bye-bye. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
My name is Melissa, and I'm 30 years old.
How can we help, Melissa?
I'm in the middle of defining my relationship, and I'm not sure if I'm rushing things, and I need help.
All right. Tell us about this relationship that you are in the middle of defining. What's your concerns?
I'm actually on my way over to his house in an hour to discuss defining the relationship, and I'm not sure if I'm rushing things. We've been seeing each other for 3 months now, and we just went on this amazing trip together to Mexico for 5 days, and it went super well. So I was kind of waiting for the like boyfriend and girlfriend talk, and it just never came.
Okay.
And I feel like almost that I'm giving more than he's giving. Like, I feel like I'm constantly telling him how much I like him. I'm constantly giving him all of this. Like, I've brought up like boyfriend and girlfriend a few times, and he's kind of laughed it off. And like,
how do you bring it up?
Like, my coworkers will be like, "Oh, are you guys boyfriend and girlfriend yet?" And I'll be like, "Oh, I don't know." And then I would tell him like stuff like that. Like, "Oh, I've been asked if like, we're official yet." And he'll just like laugh it off.
Gotcha. So kind of more passively you've been bringing it up, not directly.
Yeah, kind of. I have brought it up once before. This was a little too soon though. It was like a month after we started dating. I brought up like being exclusive, and he was completely honest with me. We were at dinner, and I brought up like, are you seeing anybody else? Because I'm not, kind of conversation. And he got a little bit upset about that. And he was like,
Upset? What do you mean upset?
he got like pretty mad. Like, he was like, "This isn't a conversation you bring up at dinner. I feel like it just ruined the dinner."
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I
I
hate
was
him.
like, "What do you mean? Like, why can't, And because he had said, he's like, "I'm going to be honest with you. I've still been communicating with other people because we're so like new, but I am not seeing anybody else, and I'm not like pursuing really anything, but there are still communications that are going on from my past that I still have."
Let's backtrack for a second. You asked him a very simple question 3 weeks in, and I'm assuming you were having sex 3 weeks in, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So here are two adult people hanging out on somewhat of a regular basis, enjoying each other's company, being intimate. You are at a dinner with him and you're just like, "Hey, listen, I'm not seeing any other people. These are my expectations. These are my hopes." You threw it back on him, and he got mad and accused you of ruining the dinner. Just to be clear, before I really confirm that I hate him, did your mood change? Did you throw a fit afterwards before he accused you of ruining the dinner? Would you have been fine with him just calmly saying, "Hey, listen, it's only been 3 weeks. I'm really enjoying you. I want to be honest with you. I am in communication with people from my past. I guess right now, if I have to give you an answer, or maybe you guys could talk about it over dinner. Like, what the fuck does he want to talk about as well? Like, what do you guys talk about at dinner?"
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And that's what I was like, this is the perfect conversation for dinner. I actually handled it very well, which I'm proud of myself. I kind of shut down, obviously. It made me a little bit like, I want to walk out of this dinner right now. But I kept my cool.
So you didn't hate him after that? Because I hated him.
So basically, I know. So it was definitely a turnoff.
Yeah. It's just like, I don't think it's fair that I am being accused of ruining dinner by asking a very fair question. Do I need your permission to bring up certain topics at a certain time. And
Yeah.
like, what are dinners for if not for like us talking about expectations about each other? Like, are you not able to eat and have a real conversation? Or was this like a really expensive meal that he didn't want to disrupt his palate or whatever it was? Like, it's a ridiculous
Yeah.
response by him.
I agree. I mean, it was definitely a turnoff. I think the reason why I stuck around after that was because about 5 minutes after it was awkward silence, he apologized and said that he basically thanked me for how I dealt with it. And he told me that we're on the right track.
Did he apologize for his reaction?
Yeah, he did.
Okay. And what was his apology? I'm just curious.
He called himself out for how he reacted.
Okay. Tell me about this trip. What'd you guys do? Where'd you go?
So about a few weeks into us dating, he actually was like, this is super random, but would you want to take a trip to me to like Mexico? And I was like, screw it. Why not? Like, send it. So we booked a trip to Playa del Carmen and we spent 5 days there. It was amazing. Like, everything was great. He paid for the whole trip, which was great. I've never had anybody do that for me before. I felt like every day we progressed more and more, like with like the way that we were with each other. But his text messages last night were really short. We were talking about the show that he told me to watch an episode of, and it was really cutesy relationshipy. And I was like, I might be rubbing off on you a little bit. And his response was, ha, maybe. And I was like, I feel like we're close to perfect for each other. And his response was, ha, like, I feel stupid for even saying that now.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't feel so. It's like, listen, it's guys are just more reluctant, I think, to commit, to settle down. I think people in general are becoming more and more reluctant. Obviously, past couple of weeks we've like talked more and more about hookup culture. I think it's really important for you, this conversation you're about to go in and talk about this, to be very confident in your position and where you stand and how you feel. You've been hanging out with this guy for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking trips together. You're being intimate. You're talking, every day via text?
Every single day. He texts me good morning every single day.
Texts you every single morning. He is certainly acting like a guy who wants to build an emotional connection and wants to be in a relationship with you. Listen, at the end of the day, no matter what guys say or anyone says, I don't care, guy, girl, it doesn't matter, but it tends to be more from guys. When they say they're not looking for a relationship right now, or I'm just not ready for a relationship, all they're saying is, I am not ready for more expectations. They don't want to basically give you the green light to start expecting more from them, to have the right to hold them accountable for their behavior. And so he's just going to drag it out as long as he can until you put your foot down. And I think the more confident you are in your position, and that position is, listen, we've invested a ton of time with each other. I like you. I think you like me. Here are the reasons why I think we should give this a shot. I think when people, they have this idea that like if they agree to be boyfriend and girlfriend, they're like almost agreeing to like a marriage plan, you know? And that's just not true. And so, but I think little things that maybe you could help yourself out, like those little comments like, oh, maybe we're perfect for each other. I think you should just like let go of that shit, because perfect is a lot to live up to. It seems almost silly because you would think that these guys shouldn't be that emotionally fragile that you have to like make sure you don't say the word perfect so not to freak them out. But all I'm saying is, if you are dealing with someone who you think is on the fence about committing to you, trying to sell them on why you think you two are good for each other never works. Once you start negotiating with why you think you guys would be good, you lose kind of that power. It's the confidence. And I say this almost every week. It's the, hey, this is what I want. It's that simple.
For sure. We have had the exclusive conversation. We do know that we're the only people we're talking to. We know that we're not on the apps. We know that we're working towards something. So like, do I have a right?
Working towards what?
The next step.
What's the next step in your mind?
boyfriend, girlfriend.
Do you think it's that big of a hurdle?
No, I don't understand why it hasn't been said.
Well, there you go. So like you don't doubt yourself. You
Yeah.
know that after 3 months of talking to someone every day and taking trips with them, that it is totally reasonable to expect or to want a label. But at the end of the day, what he just doesn't want the expectation. And he's just not going to give that up easily. And he's going to kick and scream, essentially, and make you feel like you're pressuring him or that you're pushing him. And that's just not true. And the more you walk in to this conversation you're about to go in and say, listen, and just kind of, it's like, you're not here to negotiate. You're not here to have a conversation. Yeah. You're just here to say, listen, I had such an amazing time with you, but I'm not interested in doing this anymore. When you reach that point where we're no longer doing what makes sense, then I start questioning why. And if a label's that hard for you, then maybe you're just not my guy. I think you have to challenge these guys to step up, because right now he thinks he's in a position of power. It's all it comes down to. You just got to flip the power dynamic. And so when you go into like, can we talk? And what are we? And I think we should date. And here's why. But we went on these trips and I think we're perfect for each other. And we're so good together and we have so much fun. And you're sitting there trying to sell them on the two of you. He feels like he's in a position of power because you're being pitched. And whenever you're being pitched an idea, you feel like you have the power to say yes or no. So you're not pitching him. You're going in to say, this is why this is no longer serving me. I am putting a lot of energy into this and I'm having a great time doing it. And I want to do more of it because I really enjoy being around you. And I've really enjoyed getting to know you these past 3 months. And I'm really looking to get to know you more. But if you are not willing to meet me here, then maybe you're just not my guy. Because my guy would be willing to, at a minimum, want to see where this goes. They would want to call me their girlfriend. We might break up in a week, buddy. I don't know. We don't know each other that well, which is why I want to focus on us. Like, boyfriend and girlfriend is not the new husband and wife. But again, it really comes down to they don't want expectations. And you have to be willing to make them believe that you are unwilling to give them all the things they enjoy about you. He clearly enjoys you. He clearly likes the ability to text you and talk to you and have you around and spend time with you and take trips with you and sleep with you. He clearly enjoys all that. So remember that. And and if he makes you feel bad about it, you just calmly say, I shouldn't be made to feel bad about this. The emotional reaction he's almost certainly going to give you, don't bend. That you got to stand your ground.
Yeah, I feel like I've been wasting so much energy on wondering like what we are lately that it's like exhausting. And I just feel like I can't really truly show my true feelings towards him because I'm scared that he's going to be like, oh, that's too much. I don't know where he's at. Like, I don't know how he feels because he's not one to be like, oh, I really like you. It's always me expressing my feelings. This morning, I was like, what's going on? Like, why are you being so short? And he was like, oh, I've just been sick, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, well, clearly there's a conversation we need to have. So maybe let's talk later. And he just immediately called me and he's like, what's going on? And I was like, I just feel like I'm not getting the same emotional needs that in return. I feel like I'm constantly telling you how much I like you. I feel like I'm constantly showing you that I like you. And obviously you show me too. But I just feel like I can't really truly be myself and showing you how I feel because I'm scared you're going to back up or think I'm doing too much. And he told me that he's like, I show you that I care about you in ways that you aren't noticing. I spend all my time with you. I text you every morning. I do all of these things for you and with you. We just went on a trip together. I'm wanting more of the verbal connection, I guess, that he's not giving me. And he's like, that for me is harder to give. But he said, I will work on it.
Yeah. And that's all fine. And he can work on that. But what you said to start this whole segment, I guess, was you saying, I am just tired of wondering what we are and it's draining me. That's what you say to him. it's completely exhausting to play house with someone, to act like boyfriend and girlfriend, as they often say, and then still have to wonder if he's actually committed to this relationship. To know that at any point he could play the, well, you're not my girlfriend card is draining. And at this point in this relationship, you have the right to say, I don't want to do this anymore. And as far as the other stuff, yes, he can be your boyfriend and work on his words of affirmation. Being expressive with his words is something that doesn't come easily to him. He needs to feel comfortable. He needs to feel safe. None of that has anything to do with whether he can say, you know what, let's give this a real shot. I want to be your boyfriend. I'd love to call you my girlfriend. I'd love to introduce people to you. We'll see where this goes. This isn't a life contract. There's no lawyers needed to break up. You don't need to buy me jewelry to cement this. I just want to know that you're committed to seeing where this goes. Because clearly you are with your actions. But if you're not, I respect that. I think we need to just stop doing this.
Language that I've used with my boyfriend that I thought was really helpful was saying, talking about benefit of the doubt, as a way of kind of acknowledging that, maybe there is, he thinks he's not getting enough credit for something, and framing it as I would love to be able to give you benefit of the doubt. I would love to be in a position where when it feels like maybe we're on different pages or we're interpreting things differently, I'm defaulting to your way and I'm trusting that you do like me. But in order to give you benefit of the doubt, other things need to happen. So potentially framing it like that. So that way it kind of speaks to however he may be feeling, while also very clearly pointing out why these two things are linked. In order for his behavior to get more mileage or to be more appreciated, there does need to be a different overarching arrangement in place, so that way you can contextualize it differently.
Yeah. Okay. So when I go over there, because I'm literally going to go over there after this call, what do I just sit him down? How do I begin? How do I start the conversation?
You're babe,
make some dinner because I'm about to ruin it.
No, no. You're just hey, how's it going? Listen, I had such a good time with you on your trip. I want to do more of it. I want us to be boyfriend and girlfriend. And before you say anything, I just want to remind you, I'm not asking you to marry me. And I'm not asking you to get engaged. I am tired of investing all this energy in us and still having to wonder if we're both fully committed to seeing where this goes. Then you see what he has to say. Don't let him make you feel bad for wanting this. And so no matter what excuse he says, no matter how he reacts, you stay calm and you just say, hey, listen, I don't want to argue with you about this. And I'm not even really here to negotiate with you about this. It's really simple. If it's too much for you to want to call you my boyfriend, then maybe you're not my guy. And you put it on him. You question his ability to give you what you want. I think people make the mistake of trying to convince them that you can give him what he needs to be happy calling you his girlfriend. Instead, you need to question whether he is capable of giving what you need for you to want to call him your boyfriend. And what you need is him to call you your boyfriend. But if he can't at this point, then that's bare minimum. You called in wondering if it was too fast. It's not. It's not.
Okay.
No matter what he says, it's just simply not. He might not want to, and that is his right to not want to do it. But that doesn't make you crazy for wanting it. And it certainly doesn't mean it's too fast.
Yeah. I think that I'm a little bit nervous that he's going to feel rushed into it and then he's going to agree to it. And then a week goes by and he's going to be like, why did we do this?
Okay, but at some point you have to be willing to see his actions as a reflection of the type of person you're trying to get into a relationship with. If calling you his girlfriend is so much emotional distress for him that maybe he isn't capable of giving you what you want. Do you really want someone who's so emotionally sensitive and fragile that he can't call you his girlfriend? I've started asking this question to a lot of people, especially women. Do you want someone who you take care of, who takes care of you?
Definitely don't want to take care of him, but
your actions say otherwise. Your actions have been very much caregiving. Oh, his emotional needs, making sure he is okay, not pushing him too much. Oh, he's fragile. He's emotional. Oh, I don't want to go too fast because he might back away. I might rock the boat. I might scare him away. I might do all this. That is not you setting, an example of how you would like to be taken care of. If he is too fragile to be your boyfriend, then maybe he is just too fragile to be your boyfriend.
Yeah.
And like in the nicest possible way, that's the message you give him, which is like, do not apologize for knowing what you want. At this stage in this relationship, which is so common right now, it has really nothing to do with how much he likes you. And listen, like at the end of the day, like I'm saying this as someone who, my fiance, like our situations were slightly different, but whatever. At the end of the day, while I had my reasons, I had justifiable reasons of why I was reluctant to commit to her and be boyfriend and girlfriend. But at the end of the day, at the moment she said, you know what? I don't care. I don't care about why you think it's a risk. All I know is this is what I want. I know I'm right to feel the way I do. And if you don't want it, that's fair. I just don't want to keep doing this anymore. And she was willing to move on. And at that point, my fears didn't go away. I just realized that like the only way I could have her in my life was to meet her at the level that she wanted me to meet her at. None of the risks went away. I just decided that she was worth the risk. And right now, you haven't made him decide whether you're worth the risk or not. It's not about convincing him there are no risks. Because there's always risks. You're two people who have known each other for 3 months who want to date. There's so much more you can learn about each other. So there's risks involved. And these guys or these people who go about like not wanting to define a relationship because, well, it just takes time. They in their brain are thinking, well, until I know this is a guarantee, I don't want to commit to it. And that he's never going to get that. No one's ever going to get that. You're worth the risk, and you know you're worth the risk, and you need him to choose this relationship knowing that there are still risks. And so until you can change the power dynamic in this relationship, he's not going to come around. And the only way to change the power dynamic is to make him believe that you know your worth and that you are willing to walk away if you don't get what you want. It's that simple.
I know. I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous. This is the key to getting what you want. And if he doesn't get what you want, then you have to see him as someone who's not capable of giving you what you want.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, I think you can do this. Just remind yourself how tired you are of what's going on. You are tired of the status quo. That you said that to us. So in reality, you're the one who should have the leverage. Well, I mean, but you have to change it. You have to stop giving him access.
I know. I know. I definitely don't want to be with somebody that doesn't see like, come on, it's been 3 months and we're doing so great. I just don't understand why it hasn't progressed. And like, if it's not going to progress, then why are we still doing this? Like, really though.
But don't beg. Don't try to start convincing him. It's just like, we have a great time. You love being around me. And if you love it that much, you're just going to step up or not. But either way, this is ending. I am changing the dynamic of our relationship. And the more he believes you, the more likely he will come around. And I mean this confidently.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, he was never going to. Because there is nothing that's going to happen between now and 6 months from now or 3 months from now that is going to change and have him go, you know what? Now I'm ready to have you have more expectations of me. No one does that. So this is really on you. You have all the power here. And you should be going into this thinking, I have literally nothing to lose. I'm either going to get a guy who I know deep down likes me and cares about me to stop like making excuses and to step up and commit to this relationship, or I'm going to figure out he's just not the guy who is ever capable of doing that because I'm going to figure out if he's just a guy who's just wasting my time because he just wants to have the free sex without expectations. And everything else is just a bunch of bullshit and a bunch of excuses about him not being ready and yada, yada, yada. You're not asking for a marriage contract.
Okay.
You're just asking for some clarity.
All right. Thank you so much. This is so helpful. Thanks. I'll let you guys know for sure.
Good luck.
All right. Bye.
Keep us posted. All right. Take care. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, guys. Again, don't forget to check out our Update Classic this Friday. behind Viall Files Classic. Viall Files Plus updates are available now, and as always, behind Viall Files Plus. We will see you tomorrow breaking down all things from night 1 on Charity's premiere of The Bachelorette. Bye. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.